All right, so we have a new creatine here from Best Naturals. Now, don't let the label fool you. All creatine, at least monohydrate, as long as it's a good source, it's going to be exactly the same. Don't think you have to spend $30 for a pound. I forget how much this was. It's around like $10, $11, $12. And we're getting a pound here. And as you can see, it's made in the USA. That's what you want. You want something made in the USA or made in Germany. Either one of those is fine. If it's made in Germany, it's really great because they use this CREAPURE patented brand or whatever, which is really nice. It's not going to make you gain any more muscle, but it's a good, clean brand. I'm not saying creatine from China is necessarily bad, because a lot of times even the raw materials are going to come from China anyway, and then they're just manufactured in the United States. But if you get a full creatine that's completely processed in China, just make sure you're getting it from a a good factory, because there can possibly be problems. I'm not trying to say everything from there is bad, but there can be. So again, this is made in the USA, so that's great. As you can see, 1 level tablespoon. That's 5 grams of creatine, and this is again monohydrate. All right, so that is the label. Hopefully you can see all that. Kind of a boring label compared to like Universal Nutrition, any of the other creatines out there. But again, a lot of times we're paying for labeling, we're paying for hype, we're paying for all that shit. Don't think you see this label and think this is not going to work as well as, say, something from Muscle Farm or Muscle Tech or whatever. It's going to work exactly the same. Monohydrate is monohydrate, okay? So this is from Best Naturals. Now, I've already opened this once. It will, of course, be sealed, and there'll be a little thing there. Hopefully you can see. This is, just pour some out. I don't think you're going to see because it's going to get washed out because of the white balance. As you can see, this is more of like a crystallized powder instead of like a mesh powder. This is more, think of like really fine sugar. You can see that, you can kind of even see it's almost like sparkling in the light. So this really reminds me more of the consistency of, like I said before, like the Universal Nutrition creatine that you get, versus something like the Muscle Tech, which is like a mesh powder, which is much more powdered, almost like a powdered sugar, while this is much more like a really fine sugar or really fine salt. It's crystallized. So there's no scoop in this. That's one of my pet peeves. But what are you going to do? Buy a name brand creatine once in your life. If you're new to creatine, just buy a name brand creatine, except for Universal, because again, they don't include a scoop. Something from Muscle Farm or Muscle Tech, they almost always include scoops. Get something from them, then you'll have a 5-gram scooper, and you won't have to use a tablespoon or a teaspoon, because that's just stupid. I should have brought my scoop up here with me, but I don't have it. We're going to say that's fine. I don't really care. Okay, I've already had my creatine for today. It doesn't matter. Actually, let me taste this real quick. Yeah, it's good. That's good. It's not really salty or anything like that. Of course, they could also be a sign that there's different forms of creatine in the product, not necessarily that it's bad quality. Let me start this up just so we see how it mixes. As you can see, it mixed pretty well. Of course, you're not going to be drinking this in water most of the time. If you're a carb person, you're going to have it in juice. It's great in tea, even diet tea, diet sweet tea, right? You can throw in your branched chain amino acids in tea. It's amazing. Of course, most of us are going to be having this in a protein shake. So, we're just doing this to see how it mixes. As you see, it mixes pretty well. And if you're doing this in a protein shake, it's going to stay mixed longer. You can see it kind of separates a little bit, but it's not too bad. Let me try it here. Okay, you can see the residue down there in the bottom. It's not a big deal, because again, most of us are going to have this with a protein shake. But I just want to show you that there, if you're mixing it straight up in water. Yep, so it's not the best mixer, but it doesn't add it. It basically has no taste at all, which is pretty nice. There's no taste at all, so that's not going to contribute any sort of it's not bitter at all either, so it wouldn't even make your protein shake bitter or anything like that. Okay, guys, so that's just a real quick look at the Best Naturals Creatine Monohydrate. A lot cheaper than a lot of the name brands where you see claims on the label saying this creatine made this guy gain 30 pounds of muscle in 2 days. Well, of course, that's an exaggeration. Of course, that's true. But it's not just that creatine. It's creatine monohydrate. Any monohydrate is going to act exactly the same as long as it's a quality source. And as far as I can tell, this is made in the USA. As far as I can tell from taste, from texture, from the way it looks, it seems to be a quality source. So if you want to save a few bucks, grab this. It mostly reminds me of the Universal Nutrition, except the Universal Nutrition creatine monohydrate powder it dissolves better because they're using CreaPure, which is a German branding of creatine, which is really good stuff. But this is made in the USA, so it's completely fine. All the benefits of creatine monohydrate. Anything you see on the internet that says creatine did this for me, creatine did that for me, no matter what brand they recommend, this will do the same fucking thing. Okay, check it out if you want. It's on Amazon. It's cheaper than the name brands, but again, you're gonna need to buy something name brand eventually just to get a scoop, because I don't like grabbing teaspoons. That's just stupid. So Muscle Tech or Muscle Farm, they always have scoops. Get something from them first. Then once you have a little more experience with creatine, you can save some money and buy a private label brand like this. Again, it's not just this one. There's plenty of private label brands that are exactly the same. Again, you probably want to make sure it's from the US or Germany. Those are usually the two best places to source creatine from. All right, again, this does not have a scoop, which, if you've ever watched my channel, it's kind of a pet peeve of mine, but it's so cheap, I understand why there is not a scoop. So there you go. Check it out or not. I don't care.